The silence you leave behind is not empty space for them. It is a terrifying vacuum that threatens to crush their fragile ego. When you finally stop talking, the narcissist wakes up to a reality where their primary mirror is shattered. They stare at the ceiling, feeling an agonizing void that demands immediate, ruthless substitution every dawn. Society tells you that walking away brings them profound regret. You are fed this comforting lie that your absence will somehow trigger a deep moral awakening. People want you to believe that the narcissist sits in quiet contemplation, mourning the loss of your beautiful soul. This toxic positivity keeps you chained to a fantasy of redemption. You imagine them waking up with a heavy heart, realizing the magnitude of their mistakes. Pop psychology sells you the illusion of closure, suggesting that your silence is a powerful teacher. But your silence does not teach them empathy. It only teaches them that their current emotional supply chain is defective and requires rapid replacement. We are conditioned to project our own normal human grief onto a psychological predator. You assume they process loss the way a healthy brain does, through reflection and accountability. That is your first fatal error. They do not mourn your absence. They mourn the sudden interruption of the energetic currency you previously provided on demand. The culture of forgiveness demands that you view them as wounded individuals capable of eventual remorse. You are told to be the bigger person, to let silence be your dignified exit. Yet, while you are busy protecting your peace, they are entirely indifferent to your dignity. Their morning routine is untouched by the ethical weight of your exit. Romanticizing their reaction to your no-contact rule is a dangerous game. It makes you secretly hope they are suffering without you. You check your phone, waiting for the apology that will validate your worth. But validation will not arrive wrapped in remorse. They are simply recalculating their next move, treating you as a defunct asset. You desperately want to believe that your absence has paralyzed their daily functioning. You picture them isolated and depressed, paralyzed by the sheer magnitude of losing you. This is the grand illusion you construct to soothe your own bruised ego. The brutal reality is that their daily operations continue without a single pause for your memory. Empathy is a foreign language they never bothered to learn. While you dissect every interaction to find meaning, they wake up entirely detached from your emotional turmoil. The social script dictates that pain brings change, but this rule does not apply to a personality structured around grandiosity. They are immune to your silent lessons. Stop expecting a narcissist to behave like a recovering addict experiencing withdrawal. They do not sweat through the sheets mourning the loss of your specific love. Your love was merely a functional utility, like electricity running through a wire. When the power goes out, they do not cry for the power plant. They simply look for a new generator. The illusion of their mourning despair is a narrative you cling to because the alternative is too cold to accept. Acknowledging their complete indifference shatters the false importance you placed on the relationship. You must kill the hope that your silence is destroying them. Their mournings are not about you. They are about feeding the machine. To understand their morning routine, you must understand the dark mechanics of their brain. A narcissist operates on a strict transactional basis. The moment their eyes open, their cognitive engine scans the environment for immediate supply. There is no lingering warmth from yesterday. There is only the ravenous hunger of an empty emotional stomach. Their neurological wiring lacks the capacity for object constancy. When you are no longer visible, you cease to exist as a meaningful entity. Your silence effectively erases you from their internal map. They wake up and their brain immediately runs a diagnostic check on available resources. You have flatlined, so the system bypasses your memory. Picture their mind as a frantic stock market trading floor. Every morning, the bell rings, and they must secure enough validation to prevent a total market crash. Your departure created a deficit in their portfolio. They do not sit and cry over the lost investment. They immediately begin aggressive day trading to acquire new sources of attention. The fragile ego is a relentless taskmaster that demands daily sacrifices. Without your steady stream of reactions, they wake up feeling an uncomfortable drop in their psychological blood sugar. They require a hit of control to stabilize their artificial sense of superiority. This is a biological imperative, not a sentimental longing for your touch. Their brain perceives your silence not as a boundary, but as a direct threat to their survival mechanism. A boundary requires mutual respect, which they cannot process. Instead, their amygdala registers a loss of control. Their mourning is spent recalibrating their defensive shields. They must convince themselves that they discarded you first. They rewrite history before they even step out of bed. Cognitive dissonance is too painful for them to endure, so their mind fabricates a new narrative where you were the problem. They wake up feeling justified, righteous, and victimized. This internal lie is the fuel they consume to replace the energy you took away when you stopped talking. You are dealing with a psychological parasite that has just lost its host. The parasite does not mourn the host. It simply extends its sensory organs to locate the nearest warm body. Their mourning thoughts are purely predatory. Who is vulnerable today? Who will reply to a random text? Who can provide the friction needed to spark their grandiosity? Their entire identity is a composite sketch made from the reactions of others. Without you providing a reflection, their image begins to blur. Waking up in silence forces them to confront their own terrifying emptiness for a fraction of a second. To escape that void, they immediately activate their charm protocols to secure a new reflecting pool. The lack of your voice does not trigger introspection. It triggers a frantic data collection process. They scroll through their phone, sending out low-effort probes to secondary sources of supply. A meme, a casual greeting, a subtle manipulation tactic. They cast a wide net into the digital ocean, waiting to see which desperate fish will bite. There is a cold calculus to their morning routine. It is a mathematical equation where your absence is a negative variable that must be balanced out by a positive influx of attention. They do not feel feelings. They calculate deficits. When they wake up without your morning text, they simply plug a different variable into their emotional equation. Understand the clinical detachment of their internal monologue. They do not wonder if you are sleeping well or if you are in pain. They wonder who is looking at them. They wonder how they can extract a compliment, a favor, or a reaction from their immediate surroundings. Their consciousness is trapped in an endless loop of self-aggrandizement. When you stop talking, you cut off the oxygen to their false self. But narcissism is a highly adaptable survival strategy. The morning after you go silent, their mental architecture automatically shifts to emergency backup power. They will manufacture drama elsewhere just to feel the familiar rush of control. They feed on chaos, not connection. Every morning is a clean slate for their delusions. Because they lack continuous emotional memory, the guilt of yesterday cannot weigh them down today. They wake up untethered from consequence. Your silence is just a closed door, and their brain is already picking the lock on the next opportunity. They are a machine optimized for pure extraction. The silence does not deafen them. It merely changes the frequency on which they operate. They scan the room for an audience. If no audience is present, they will use social media to project an image of invulnerability. Their morning coffee is consumed while meticulously crafting a digital persona that screams to the world how unaffected they are. Their cognitive mechanics are rooted in profound insecurity, masked by aggressive arrogance. Waking up to your silence threatens to expose the insecurity. Therefore, the arrogance must be dialed up to maximum volume. They strut into the day with a reinforced armor of superiority, completely obliterating any trace of your influence on their life. Now look at your own behavior. You are obsessed with their morning routine because you are addicted to the pain they caused you. You are secretly hoping that your absence is destroying them, which means you still need their reaction to feel valuable. Your ego is playing a dangerous trick on you, keeping you tethered to a ghost out of pure spite. You weaponized your silence, expecting it to act as a remote-controlled explosive device in their life. You thought going no contact would be your ultimate revenge. But the only person staring at the wall, agonizing over the silence, is you. You made yourself the center of a narrative they are not even reading. You are fighting an empty room. Why are you so desperate for their suffering? Your need to see them fail is a reflection of your own unhealed wounds. You are using their theoretical misery as a substitute for your actual healing. You wake up every morning wondering what they are doing, effectively giving them free rent inside your head. You have become your own worst enemy here. Your defense mechanisms are working overtime to avoid looking in the mirror. It is easier to psychoanalyze a narcissist than to confront your own crippling codependency. You research their behaviors so you do not have to dissect your own terrible choices. You chose to stay. You chose to bleed for them. Own your part in this destructive dynamic. Stop pretending your silence is a boundary when it is actually a strategy to provoke them. A true boundary is built for your protection, not for their punishment. If you are waiting for them to notice you are gone, you have not left. You are simply hiding behind the door, holding your breath, waiting for them to knock. They are not going to knock. You are trapped in an ego loop of perceived injustice. You want the universe to balance the scales. You want the narcissist to wake up and choke on the reality of what they lost. But the universe is indifferent to your desire for cosmic retribution. By waiting for their downfall, you are actively choosing to paralyze your own forward momentum. Look at the bitter truth of your situation. You are investing your mourning energy into a phantom. While they are out hunting for new supply, you are sitting in a self-made prison, analyzing their hypothetical thoughts. You are feeding the bond from a distance. Your silence is loud, but only to you. They cannot hear your silent scream at all. Your obsessive curiosity is a trauma bond disguised as research. You consume content like this hoping to find the exact combination of words that will prove you won the breakup. There is no winning. There is only surviving and escaping. Your ego demands a victory lap, but in the realm of narcissistic abuse, walking away alive is the only victory. Acknowledge your addiction to the chaos. When things were good, the highs were intoxicating. Now that it is over, you are trying to manufacture that intensity through silent warfare. You want them to care because if they do not care, it means the entire relationship was a lie. That is the brutal truth you are desperately trying to outrun right now. You are bargaining with reality. You think that if you stay silent long enough, their pathology will miraculously reverse itself. You are projecting a conscience onto a blank wall. The energy you spend predicting their morning routine is energy stolen from your own recovery. You are bleeding out while wondering if the knife is feeling guilty. This is the confrontation you avoid. You are mourning a fantasy. The person you want them to miss never actually existed in their eyes. You were a role, a script, a prop in their internal movie. When you stop talking, the director simply recasts the role. Your refusal to accept your status as a replaceable prop is what keeps you in daily agony. Drop the righteous indignation. Yes, they are toxic. Yes, their mechanics are dark. But your continuous fixation on their darkness is your own toxic trait. You use their pathology as a shield against your own responsibility to rebuild your life. As long as you focus on what they do every morning, you do not have to decide what you will do today. You must dismantle the ego trap of being the ultimate victim. Being victimized is an event, but remaining a victim is a choice. You are choosing to keep them alive in your psyche. Every time you visualize their mourning without you, you are resurrecting the abuser. You are doing their job for them by terrorizing yourself from the inside out. Your silence must become absolute. Not a tactic. Not a weapon. Avoid. If you are still checking their social media to see how they look without you, your silence is fraudulent. You are a spy in enemy territory, pretending to be a deserter. Your ego cannot handle being irrelevant, so you manufacture a secret war that exists solely in your mind. The hardest pill to swallow is their absolute fineness. They are waking up fine. They are drinking their coffee fine. They move forward without a backward glance. This destroys your narrative of indispensability. Let it be destroyed. Clinging to the idea that your absence is a catastrophic event in their life is the ultimate form of self-harm. To survive this, you must build a tactical system of absolute detachment. This requires cold, calculated behavioral adjustments. First, eliminate the concept of revenge from your vocabulary. Revenge implies a connection. It implies an ongoing exchange of energy. You must sever the energetic cord with the precision of a surgical strike. Go dark. Implement a protocol of total data starvation. Block every avenue of information. You cannot process their morning routine if you have zero access to their reality. Do not ask mutual friends how they are doing. Do not look at their digital footprint. Starving your brain of their data is the only way to reprogram your neural pathways for true peace. Reclaim your mourning. Your current mourning is infected with their ghost. When you wake up, your first thought is a diagnostic check on their existence. You must brutally force a new routine. When the thought of them surfaces, deploy a mental kill switch. Redirect that cognitive energy into immediate, physical action. Build your own infrastructure. Treat your recovery as a hostile takeover of your own mind. You are the CEO, and you are firing the board members who keep voting to contact the narcissist. You must establish strict operational security. Your thoughts are compromised. You cannot trust your initial emotional responses. You must rely purely on logic and behavioral discipline now. Understand the economics of your attention. Your attention is the most valuable currency you possess. By spending it on wondering what a narcissist does at dawn, you are bankrupting your future. You must audit your mental expenditure. Cut off the funding to the ghost of your past relationship. Invest every single thought into your own survival. Silence is not something you do to them. Silence is a fortress you build around yourself. The walls must be impenetrable. When they test the perimeter, and they will, your response must be an absolute vacuum. Do not defend, do not explain, do not engage. You are a black hole. Any energy they send your way must be swallowed by total nothingness. You must operate with the cold efficiency of a machine. Empathy is a liability in this specific extraction process. Turn it off. When the urge to check on them strikes, recognize it as a biological withdrawal symptom. It is a chemical craving in your brain, nothing more. Ride out the urge without breaking your operational security. Stay the path. This tactical system is not about healing softly. It is about cauterizing a wound so you do not bleed to death. The pain will be intense, but it is the pain of surgery, not the pain of an ongoing assault. You are cutting out a tumor. Do not negotiate with the disease. Enforce your boundaries with the ruthlessness of a prison warden on lockdown. Mastery over your own behavioral loop is the ultimate goal. You cannot control what they do every morning. You can only control where you direct your eyes when you wake up. Look forward. Lock down your emotional perimeter. Execute your daily operations without factoring their existence into your plans. You are no longer supply. You are unreachable. Their morning routine is exactly what it was before they met you, and exactly what it will be until the day they die. They are a broken machine executing a flawless program of extraction. You are just a temporary battery in their endless cycle of consumption. The truest form of power is realizing they never actually mattered in the first place.